Filipino archer Andrea Robles remains on target to represent the country in next year's Asian Games. This as Robles continues to dominate the Philippine Archery Cup. The tournament is set to conclude with its fourth and final leg that's scheduled on October 27 until the 29th in Marikina City. And now joining us for an all-out conversation is the archer herself, Andrea Lucia Robles, joining us from Quezon City via Zoom. Hi, Andrea. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the show.
Hi, Andrea. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Andre, so namesake. Andrea, first of all, you're slowly making a name for yourself in the Philippine sports scene. You're only 24 years old. You're the first Filipino to win a gold in the Indoor Archery World Series back in 2019. Now, the following year, ikaw naman yung naging first Pinay to qualify in the finals of the World Series. And so far, so good. You also won 2 golds in the third leg this year, early in June. Before we talk about all your accomplishments in your sport, tell us more about you. From what hometown are you? How did you start your career in archery? Of course, because sports fans want to know who Andrea Robles is, especially when we're going to be supporting and rooting for you when you make it to the Asian Games.
Yeah, so I'm from here in Quezon City. I started archery back in 2013. Actually come from a family of athletes. My dad was a national swimmer, and my mom was in the national team for badminton. But I'm the first archer in the family. It's actually something that surprised my parents when I showed interest in archery. But they've always been so supportive. They've always had the mindset that that sports is very important. So they've been a really big part in forming me and helping me become the archer, the athlete that I am.
Bakit nga archery, Andrea? Dahil sabi mo, swimming yung dad mo, di ba? Tapos badminton yung mom mo, and then all of a sudden, nag-archery ka. I'm sure nagulat sila, although, yes, it runs in your blood, like, being an athlete. Pero bakit? Why archery?
Yes, correct. Nagulat nga yung parents ko when I suddenly said na, I want to try archery. But I don't know, it was just something that just randomly popped into my mind. I told my dad, I want to try archery. He's like, huh? Well, okay, then find a place where you can learn. And there, it started from there. Just a random thought that I guess it was a calling.
Yeah.
In a way.
Hindi naman dahil sa Hunger Games, no? Kay Katniss Everdeen. Hindi naman.
No. It's really a random thought.
Let's go and talk about your World Series achievement, because that was really, of course, a tough competition. Again, as I mentioned earlier, first Filipino to win a gold in the Indoor Archery World Series in 2019, and then the following year you became the first Pinay to qualify in the finals of the World Series. Let's talk about how difficult that was, especially for you, tayo mga local archers. Dahil alam naman natin archery around the world. It's a tough competition, tough sport. But just paint a picture how tough it is to be able to do what you did back in 2019 and in 2020.
Well, I think a big struggle that athletes go through is the support and the funding needed to be able to get exposed to tournaments locally, internationally. You get exposed to different athletes. And one thing that I was fortunate enough to have that year in preparation for the Indoor World Series is I was able to compete in various tournaments that year. So I think that was a really big help in my preparation, mentally, especially mentally.
Yeah.
So I think that is definitely something important that we need to have for athletes as we prepare for the SEA Games, the Asian Games, and the Olympics.
Well, you're well on your way to claiming a spot in next year's Asian Games lineup, but of course, nothing yet is secured until you actually do that, diba? And it is a crucial upcoming fourth and final leg when it comes to your SEA Games and ASIAD preparation aspirations. How crucial is this fourth and final leg? And at the same time, how far are you, do you think, from reaching those goals of qualifying and hopefully representing the country in the Asian Games?
Yeah, the tournament coming up next week is pretty important. It's part of the final selection process of next year's national team, the team that will be sent for the Asian Games. So I've really got my eyes set on that. I've really been preparing and making efficient use of my time to to bring me to the best shape possible. I've been working with my coaches and mentors. They've been a huge factor in my success, and I've been working hard together with them to prepare. Um, Currently, I'm proud to say that to share that I'm in the rank one spot. So hopefully, I get to continue the streak up until the finals next week.
What separates Andrea from, if we talk about you, Andrea Robles, what separates you from other archers here in the country?
I think it's I really ever since I've always dreamt really big. I since the start of my career, it's always been big goals that I want to achieve. I mean, especially with growing up in a family of athletes, they've always mm, like formed in me that there are big goals and you have the capacity to achieve them. They've given me such a great support in molding my mindset and giving me all the support that I need to be able to prepare physically, mentally. And I think that's what's been a really great help. A very solid support system and the encouragement from my family, from everyone around me in achieving my goals.
Well, Andrea, we're rooting for you. The best of luck to you in the fourth and final leg, as well as your preparations, and also hopefully you qualify and make it and represent the Philippines in the upcoming games, Asian Games next year. The best of luck to you. Doors of Sports Desk here on CNN Philippines are always open to you, and of course our national athletes. Maraming salamat, Andrea. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, we just spoke to archer Andrea Robles, who is aiming to represent the country in the Asian Games that's happening next year.